Learn more. Learn more. Okay. So, I'm not particularly in the mood to do this right now. But, wait. I'm so makeshift. Do you know? Like, a pillow will do it. Every time. Or a couple. So, and I'm doing it on YouTube because I feel like it right now. Because it just seems more peaceful, and that's what I need. And I really am doing this for Oprah and me, and for continuity right now. But before I do it and try to finish reading a little bit of this, I was at the Ralph's today, at the red box in the Ralph's near my daughter's school before I picked her up, because I need some Kevin Hart tonight, like a lot of Kevin Hart tonight. I need Kevin Hart tonight to be able to laugh my way into my dreams the way I need to laugh them. I mean, laugh them. This is awesome looking. The way that I need to laugh into them. And Kevin Hart is going to do it for me. So I need Kevin Hart. So I go to the red box at the Ralph's, and I'm next to this man. And he's renting some movies and starts talking to me, and I notice very quickly that he has a Mustang t-shirt on, and that he's talking to me so enthusiastically. And something really interesting happens to me in these moments where, you know, I'm watching myself go through it, and it's fascinating because I'm really in the conversation with another human being, and yet I am not at all unaware of the dynamic essence of the experience. And he starts telling me, you know, born in New York City, raised in Texas, and then out in LA, and these little anecdotes that are very interesting and pertinent as I see them. And he starts telling me about we talk about cars, because I mention his t-shirt. I say, I like your t-shirt. I like Mustangs. And he starts telling me about what his favorite cars are, and he's like, I miss Broncos. And I was like, okay. He's like, but my favorite car is a Shelby. I'm like, well, that is super interesting, mister. And it was a pleasure talking to him before going to get my Charlotte. And what I think I want to say before I start reading from, you know, with that as a point of departure, big fan of this, is about like things being bigger than us and my relationship to that. Because that does not blow me away. It doesn't blow me away. I mean, I think it's magnificent and beyond, you know, full conscious understanding, and I marvel at it and I celebrate it, but it doesn't blow me away, because I think it's my entire orientation toward and with life that it's bigger than us. And I feel like I've always both felt comfort in that and in service to that. And it's not a revelation. That's not a revelation. And it would be awesome if it can be a revelation in certain people's lives. And perhaps never mind. But I'll never be, that will never be a new answer for me, because it just is bigger. And I've always been deeply engaged with that process. And I think well, let's go back to the perhaps. I think for me, the perhaps is that I kind of get the personal as intimate as possible experience of that, bigger than us, that's not so isolated, because it has been isolated. It has been something difficult to impose upon other people. That's the way that I relate to life most of all. And that every personal experience, just like the one I had at the grocery store today with this man, is both personal and, like an indication of how brilliantly large and beyond our own 2 feet life is. And I think there would be just a lot of comfort for me in coming around to where I can bring that into my bed with me, and I mean that. I can sleep beside that. The intimate version of that. I will never be somebody that's crying in front of people saying, this is so big, because that's just life. I will cry and be like, oh my God, how am I to fare through this bigness sometimes? But I already know the big part, and it's my compass. So I want to finish this joy part, and I want to do it for Oprah and me. I want to do it for Oprah and me right now. And then I'm going to get back to trying to get through this day. So no way. I can't not laugh sometimes. It says we were both screaming and laughing, and I am screaming. Do you hear me? Do you hear me right now? I am fucking screaming. This is fucking insane. And laughing for Oprah, laughing. No way. I actually thought of having her come to sing for my birthday, I said when I caught my breath. And then I went, nah, too much trouble. Had I known you liked her too, I would have made the effort. Later that night, lying in bed, I thought, isn't that something? I would have gone to the trouble for a friend, but not for myself. This is page 10. Wow. For sure, I need to practice what I preach and value myself more. I went to sleep wishing I'd invited Snatum Cower. I'm so sorry. I don't know. I have to look it up still. Cower to sing. The next day, my birthday, we had a land blessing. Oh my God. With a Hawaiian chieftain. That evening, we gathered on the porch for sunset cocktails. My friend Elizabeth stood up to read a poem, I thought, or to make a speech. Instead, she said, you wanted it, and now you have manifested it. She rang a small chime, and suddenly music started to play. Oh my God, Oprah. And beyond, and you know who you are. The music was muffled, as if the speakers weren't working. I thought, what is going on? And then there appeared, walking onto my front porch, Snatum Cower. I'm so sorry that I'm Cower, butchering this most gorgeous part. In her white turban. And her musicians. How did this happen? I cried. And cried and cried. Maria, sitting next to me with tears in her eyes, held my hand and just nodded. You wouldn't do it for yourself. So we did it for you. After I'd gone to bed the night before, my friends had called to find out where, can I call her SK? Because I don't want to mispronounce her name anymore. It feels horribly disrespectful. SK was, to see if they could get her to Maui in the next 12 hours. As life and God would have it, she and her musicians were in a town 30 minutes away preparing for a concert and were honored to come and sing. It was one of the most amazing surprises of my life, layered with meanings I'm still deciphering. What I know for sure, it's a moment I'll savor forever. The fact that it happened the way that it happened. And it happened on my birthday. All so delicious. Page 12. We're not done with joy, so a little more. When was the last time you laughed with a friend till your sides hurt, or dropped the kids off with a sitter and went away for the entire weekend? More to the point, if your life ended tomorrow, what would you regret not doing? If this were the last day of your life, would you spend it the way that you were spending it today? I once passed a billboard that caught my attention. It read, "He who dies with the most toys is still dead." Anyone who's ever come close to death can tell you that at the end of your life, you probably won't be reminiscing about how many all-nighters you pulled at the office or how much your mutual fund is worth. The thoughts that linger are the if-only questions, like, who could I have become if I had finally done the things I always wanted to do? The gift of deciding to face your mortality without turning away or flinching is the gift of recognizing that because you will die, you must live now. 13, this is page 13. Oprah. Whether you flounder, 14, Ariel, or flourish, bloom, is always in your hands. You are the single biggest influence in your life. Yes, indeed. Your journey begins with a choice to get up, step out, and live fully. Is there anything I love more than a good meal? Oh my goodness. Not much. One of my best took place on a trip to Rome, at a delightful little restaurant filled exclusively with Italians, except for our table, my friends, Reggie, Andre, and Gail, Gail's daughter, Kirby, and me eating as the Romans do. There was a moment when the waiters, prompted by our Italian host, Angelo, brought out so many delicious antipasta that I actually felt my heart surge like an engine switching gears. We had zucchini stuffed with prosciutto and fresh, ripe tomatoes layered with melting mozzarella so warm you could see tiny cheese bubbles. I'm gonna have an orgasm right now. Along with a bottle of 85 something that I'm not sophisticated to know what it is yet, but it's Sassy and Kaya and Sassy Kaya. I'm not doing it right. Who cares? A Tuscan red wine that had been breathing for half an hour, to sip and savor like liquid velvet. Wow. Oh my. These were moments to treasure. Did I mention I topped all this off with a bowl of pasta? I know this. Made to perfection and a little tiramisu. Yep. That was some good eating. I paid for it with a 90-minute jog around the Coliseum the next day. But it was worth every delectable bite. 15. Let's finish this last bit on page 16 and we'll save the rest for later. Joy goes on for a while. That's good news. Page 16, what I know for sure. I have a lot of strong beliefs. The value of eating well is one of them. I know for sure that a meal brings you real joy, that a meal that brings you real joy will do you more good in the long and short term than a lot of filler food that leaves you standing in your kitchen, roaming from cabinet to fridge. I call it the grazing feeling. You want something, but you can't figure out what it is. All the carrots, celery, and skinless chicken in the world can't give you the satisfaction of one incredible piece of chocolate if it's what you really crave. In a secret place, maybe. In a secret book, maybe. This is... And I have rage right now, I do. And my dreams will show it and tell it, because there's still so much work to be done for me. But this is my chocolate in a secret place. And there's nothing that feels better. Balance. Balance. My goodness graciousness. So I've learned to eat one piece of chocolate, maximum 2, and dare myself to stop and relish it. Knowing full well, like Scarlett, YouTube tonight. Oh, hair. That tomorrow is another day. And there's always more where that came from. I don't have to consume the whole thing just because it's there. What a concept. So maybe 17 tomorrow. Please don't ever doubt my gratitude. That's the thing about life. It's everything. And I do have rage. And I have pain. Profound longing and a completely authentic and appropriate need for what I need. And I will never, ever, ever not be grateful for and not celebrate what my friends, my life, my family has been able to do for me that I wouldn't have even considered doing for myself. And I do a lot for myself because I love life and I celebrate it. But there's that line, I guess, that Red Rover said Megan right over. So much love. Happy Friday. Sabbath. Team KJ and J